Hello and welcome to this accessible video for Ronde. The women of Ronde. My name is Harriet Squire. I work for the National Trust and I will be giving the voiceover. In these videos, the sign language is by Sharon Saunders of Complete Communications. I am in the library, where we can find out more about the women of Ronde. Here we can see the only known portrait of Mary Parminter, this miniature. Jane and Mary's families had been successful merchants, and the two women were independently wealthy thanks to their inheritance. Unfortunately, we do not have many surviving letters or diaries from Mary and Jane to tell us what they were thinking. But what we do know of them shows they were bold, creative and independent women. The choices Jane and Mary made challenged Georgian society's expectations of what women could and should do. We can see their adventurous spirit in their grand tour travels. At that time, usually only men would go on these long European trips. Whilst in Europe, Mary and Jane even tried mountaineering and were the first women to climb Mont Bouet in the Alps, where you can now find the Parminter Peak in their honour. It was unusual at that time for unmarried women to be able to own property. And not only was their house a beacon of characterful decoration, the will that Mary made meant that she had also provided security and independence for her female relations for decades to come by giving them a home. For over 200 years, Ronde has been owned and cared for by unmarried women, with only one break in the chain. After Mary died, her female cousins and nieces inherited Ronde in turn, with provisions which would help maintain the house and its estate. But later generations faced financial challenges to keep the house and estate together. In 1880, the house was sold by Stella Reichel, Mary's distant niece, to her brother Oswald. Although Oswald made many changes to Ronde, he also played his role in looking after the house by modernising it and adding lots of home comforts, such as indoor plumbing and heating. Here we can see one of the remaining Victorian radiators and speaking tubes installed by Oswald. Ronde returned to female ownership again in 1929. Stella's daughter, Margaret Tudor, lived at Ronde until 1969. She was determined to save Ronde, and as an artist and businesswoman, she opened parts of the house to the public from 1935. And even split the house into bedsits and had lodgers living with her too. Ronde has also been home to World War II evacuees. When girls from Crossways School, Farnborough, came to live here with their teachers. The house then passed to Margaret's sister, Stella Tudor, a musician, who after travelling the world lived here from 1969 to 1975. She chose the dining room as her bedsit and spent her remaining days here. From 1975 to 1991, the last of Mary's relatives to live at Ronde was Ursula Tudor Perkins and her young family. She sold it to the National Trust. So, we can see a long line of dedicated, entrepreneurial women have lived at Ronde, opening its doors to new people to enjoy this family home. And the National Trust is now keeping it safe for future generations.